3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
In fairness, you've got to blame the Republicans for some of this because they delayed everything they possibly could, threw as many monkey wrenches into the process as they could, and there's some success here.
I like to start Fridays off with a good joke. Welcome to the Steve Malzberg Show. Howard Dean, you got to blame Republicans for the failure of the Obamacare sign-up process and the disaster that is Obamacare. Yeah, blame the Republicans. Not one single Republican voted for Obamacare in the House or the Senate, but Howard Dean says blame the Republicans. Welcome aboard. It's Friday, 877-NEWSMAX. We have a big show for you. I want to start with some news on Obamacare, of course. 10 Senate Democrats have signed a letter to the White House and to HHS calling for an extension of the open enrollment period for the healthcare exchanges. 10 Democratic senators. You want more? How do you like this? I love this one. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, a Republican, will propose a new law next week called If You Like Your Health Care Plan, You Could Keep It Act. The If You Like Your Health Care Plan, You Could Keep It Act. You know, that's what all Obama said, and now Americans are losing their health insurance, being forced to change. Many, many millions are. Elderly New Yorkers are in a panic after getting notices that insurance companies are booting their doctors from the Medicare Advantage program as a result of the shifting medical landscape under Obamacare. So that leaves patients with a couple of choices. Keep the same insurance plan and find another doctor, or pay out of pocket, or look for another plan where their physician is a member. But Obama said you could keep your doctor too. He doesn't lie. He's a great man, Dr. Obama. Now, here's a story. CBS News did a story of how many millions of people have to change their insurance. And here's one woman's story in particular. By the way, a woman. Is this a war on women? Could be. Cut 19, CBS News.
If you like your insurance plan, you will keep it. No one will be able to take that away from you. It hasn't happened yet. It won't happen in the future.
But it is happening. The president's health care law raises the standards for insurance policies, which many consider to be a good thing. But hundreds of thousands of Americans whose policies don't meet the new standards are being told that their health plans are being canceled.
Ooh, did you hear the sadness in Scott Pelley's voice? But it is happening. No, he's not sad that it's happening. He's just sad that he has to report that after the president promised over and over and over and over again that it wouldn't happen, that it actually is happening. But kudos to CBS News and Carter Evans, who's doing this report. Cut 20.
Natalie Willis helps parents in Los Angeles care for their newborns. She buys her own health insurance.
I was completely happy with the insurance I had before.
So she was surprised when she tried to renew her policy. What did you find out?
That my insurance was going to be completely different, and they were going to be replaced with 10 new plans that were going to fall under the regulations of the Affordable Care Act.
Her insurer, Kaiser Permanente, is terminating policies for 160,000 people in California and presenting them with new plans that comply with the health care law.
All right. Now you want to hear about those great new plans and how this poor woman is going to get screwed along with the rest of us? Here's cut 21.
Before, I had a plan that had a $1,500 deductible. I paid $199 a month. The most similar plan that I would have available to me would be $278 a month. My deductible would be $6,500, and all of my care after that point would only be covered 70%.
Did you hear that? Thank you, Dr. Obama. This woman loses her insurance. Her new plan, she used to pay $199 a month and have a $1,500 deductible. Now she's going to have to pay $79 more a month, and her deductible is going up by $5,000. Plus, after that, it's only paid 70% coverage. Thank you, Dr. Obama. This is really great. Here's cut 22.
About half of the 14 million people who buy insurance on their own are not going to be able to keep the policies that they had previously.
Dr. Jerry Kaminsky is Director of Public Health Policy at UCLA. He says higher premiums help insurers pay for new requirements, including accepting patients with pre-existing conditions and providing preventative care, like checkups and vaccines.
That's it.
You're paying more for a better product and for more protection, and you won't understand the value of that until you need it.
Oh! Don't you know, the healthcare expert in this report says, you little peons, you just won't understand how valuable a product you have and what a better product you have until you need it. You know, like the baldness provision in your insurance that you're paying for that you don't need, the maternity provision that you might never need that you're paying for. All these things that Obama has decided you need to have, even though you don't want them, you poor peons, you just don't understand what a good deal you have. So if your deductible goes up $5,000, if your premium goes up $80 a month, and if you get less coverage once you meet the deductible, it's still for your own good. Remember that. Now we finish with cut 23.
But many can't get past the sticker shock.
So now I'm being forced to choose from a bunch of new plans that I don't want to choose from that are all more expensive.
New plan prices vary depending on age and location, but Scott, we're told younger people who currently have high deductible plans will likely pay higher premiums, and people with health problems will pay lower premiums.
Yeah, all right. We'll see if anybody pays lower premiums. All right, folks, there you go. We have much more on this. We have coming up, and I want to break early and get to him because I want to spend time with Professor Christopher Parker, co-author of Change They Can't Believe In, The Tea Party and Reactionary Politics in America. We're going to talk about that bum, Alan Grayson, who calls the Tea Party KKK. On the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, and you may be forced to watch helplessly as you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, all while your home's value is eradicated. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer believes we will soon stare down a secret crisis that will rival the Great Depression. It was Wiedemer's 2005 book, America's Bubble Economy, that warned of coming meltdowns in our housing and stock markets. Washington did not heed his call, and folks on Main Street lost $50 trillion from the recession. His New York Times best-selling book, Aftershock, predicted our federal debt and dollar would be the next bubbles to burst. And now Robert Wiedemer has released a startling video with shocking evidence the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Join us at Aftershock2013.com. Aftershock2013.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
A hot new book by Craig Smith argues that the greenback is now at high risk thanks to our spendthrift politicians. Mark Twain said, "The truth is stranger than fiction." The same is true of the Great Debasement, which began a century ago with the creation of the Federal Reserve and income tax. The result, today's dollar retains just 2 cents of its original buying power. Yes, progressive politicians have engineered the largest wealth confiscation in history, creating in essence a fourth branch of government. Learn what must be done to preserve your money if the dollar crashes. The good news is Swiss America is offering the Great Debasement, a $20 value free of charge for this special radio offer.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. Call Swiss America now for a free DVD. 800-818-3967.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Where can you find the Steve Malzberg Show? Everywhere. From your smartphone to satellite radio to Newsmax Live TV to Roku, we have you covered. Here is Steve Malzberg.
The fact that we put our credit at risk for a generation to come, and they're appalled by the enormous expense. The fact that this shutdown ended up costing America $24 billion. That's almost $100 for every man, woman, and child in this country. Frankly, they want their money back, and they want the Tea Party out of their lives. At this point, the Tea Party is no more popular than the Klan. I think it's already clear to people that the Republican Party is on its way out. The Republican Party is going to go the way of the Whig Party, the way the Whig Party disappeared in the 1830s in America. And the reason is simple. They simply won't do anything useful for ordinary people, whether the issue is jobs or housing or health care or transportation, whatever the issue might be, they got nothing. And it's not our fault, but they've got nothing. They simply want to bring about the end of days as quickly as possible. That is the ultimate Tea Party Republican desire, to bring about the end of days. The Republican Party has become the largest suicide pact in history.
KKK, suicide pact, and bring about the end of days. That's what the Tea Party and the Republicans want to do. That's the despicable Alan Grayson. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Joining us now is Professor Christopher Parker, co-author of Change They Can't Believe In, The Tea Party and Reactionary Politics in America. Hey, welcome back, Professor. Glad you would do it.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Steve.
My pleasure. Okay, so you're familiar with, and we'll put that up on the screen for those watching on Newsmax TV. You're familiar with the letter written by Alan Grayson, where it has the burning cross or T, followed by the letters spelling out Tea Party, and again the analogy to the KKK. I would hope that you would find that reprehensible.
Actually, I do not. Actually, I'm a little ambivalent about that. Let me explain why, Steve.
Sure.
So the Klan with which most Americans are familiar is the Klan of the 19th century that was a reaction to Reconstruction, and the Klan that was in the 1950s, right? Both of those were really sort of violent Klans, and, burning crosses and all the other things that are associated with, the popular imagination of the Klan. But the Tea burning crosses and all the other things that are associated with, the popular imagination of the Klan. But the Tea regional movement, now they didn't traffic in violence the same way in which
so you think when Alan Grayson puts out a letter with the cross burning and talks about the KKK in the letter and talks about the letter with the cross burning and talks about the KKK in the letter and talks about the you're talking about, which no one even knows about. Don't tell me that the message isn't that the Klan is the KKK. You believe the Klan, that the Tea Party's the KKK. You yourself on this show have argued that the Tea Party's racist. So don't try to say that he's equating it with some nonviolent, 1920s version of the KKK. That's disingenuous.
No. I look, hey, Steve. I agree with you. I think he's wrong for equating it to those.
Oh, you do? Well, then
claims.
I said, well, wait. At the beginning, I said I think you would find this reprehensible. You said no.
No. But I'm saying, but there was a version of the Klan, to which the Tea Party can be compared to. But Grayson, I'm sure, was not talking about that version of the Klan. So we're in agreement there.
So we're in agreement. Okay, I'll see you next week. No. All right, and then let's go to another point here. And this point was made by Senator Mark Rubio on this show 2 days ago. Give a listen. This is cut 6.
Okay.
Well, it's not surprising. This is an individual who's got a history of outrageous and ridiculous claims and comments, and he's not held accountable by anybody. The mainstream media just kind of ignores it. Is that where a Republican or a conservative, of course, they'd be calling for their resignation, there'd be mass protests, but you won't hear any talk about that. And I think it just exposes the hypocrisy in the mainstream media. But I'm not surprised that this individual did that. I mean, he's been embarrassing the state of Florida now for the better part of 4 to 6 years.
Okay, so the double standard here. Making that kind of rhetorical statement, not only in a letter, but also actually verbalizing it and saying that the Tea Party is like the KKK, as you heard on the introduction. Basically he's paraded around on talk shows. There are people defending what he said on the left, and if it was a Republican, if a Republican sneezes and doesn't say "excuse me" in the proper way, they demand a resignation.
Well, I mean, I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz, certainly expressed her displeasure with him equating the Tea Party to the Klan. So that's not completely true, because some people on the left are really thoroughly embarrassed. So that's sort of one thing. Now, I do find his claims. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one again too, Steve, because him making these sort of hyperbolic claims that the Tea Party is about end of days. That's going a little too far. I do believe that they believe that their country's being taken from them and they want to stop it. But to say that the end of the world is going to result from that, I think that's a little hyperbolic myself.
All right, being taken from them by whom? And in what way? And in what way? And in what way?
Well, okay, so being taken from them by people who wouldn't be considered quote unquote real Americans, people of color, the gay community, right? Because when we think about all of these groups that have risen, since the time Obama's been in office, the recognition of same-sex rights. I mean, that's come back, right? The recognition of the plight of the undocumented, right? That's returned as well. And, the increased recognition of women's rights and women's reproductive rights. Right. All of these things have come around, or coincidentally or not, while Obama's on watch right now. And so then the argument that we make in the book is that the Tea Party is concerned that the country that they know and love is being removed from them. This is no longer America that they recognize.
All right, but there's a Fox News poll out today which claims that 75% of Americans feel the country's headed in the wrong direction, and that's not really an aberration. I mean, it's usually well over 60% in any poll that you look at. So when you talk about the country moving in the wrong direction, you're talking about some or all of the things you just mentioned, and that goes way beyond Tea Party members. Are all these people who feel that the country that is moving in the wrong direction, that the America they knew and loved and grew up in is gone or going fast? That's all attributable to people that they think are not real Americans?
Well, first of all, it's hard for me to trust a Fox poll.
Of course it is. Well, then it should be hard for me to trust any poll. But I'm telling you, if you look at that question in any poll, it's well over 60% of Americans think the country's headed in the wrong direction.
But that doesn't necessarily mean, however, that they believe the country's being taken from them culturally. Those are two different questions, Steve.
But take it from them culturally. When you talk about culturally, the issues that you mentioned, recognizing illegals, lawbreakers, and welcoming them into this country, when my relatives and their relatives came here legally, and to hear politician after politician, and by the way, the overwhelming majority of them white politicians say, we're a country of immigrants. Yeah, we have been a country traditionally of legal immigrants. A woman's right to choose, the polls show more and more and more of Americans with technology are shifting away from the Cory Booker, Barack Obama Obama, Hillary Clinton mindset of abortion on a man for any reason, so-called women's right to choose. If you look at the polls, now you can see hands and feet moving at 18 weeks, 20 weeks. So all that is adding. It has nothing to do. I mean, sure, there are racists. There are black racists, Hispanic racists, white racists, Tea Party racists, Democrat racists. But it has nothing overall, generally speaking, to do with the fact that, you know, people in the Tea Party have anything against people of color or hate women. For crying out loud, they're all married to women if they're married. They all have mothers. They have sisters. I mean, this notion that Republicans like dirty water and dirty air because I guess they breathe other water, breathe other air and drink other water is just nuts.
Well, I mean, so okay, you can say that. I mean, that's a position that you want to take, and you're entitled to your position, right? As a real American, right? But the issue is, Steve, is that it's been shown empirically time after time. We can talk about the Pew poll as well, and that is a nonpartisan poll in which they show that people who support the Tea Party tend to be really evangelical too, right? So about 55%. And there's obviously nothing wrong with that. But with that come these views, these conservative, anachronistic views on social issues, right? That's not about progress, Steve.
Well, wait a minute. Progress in your view? What if you don't believe killing an unborn baby is progress? What if you don't believe letting illegals into the country is progress? What if you don't believe redefining marriage, the staple of every society in the world throughout history, is progress? What if you think that's all dangerous and bad? That makes you evil and a racist?
What? I didn't say evil. I didn't even say racist.
Not this time you didn't, but it makes you bad. It makes you bad. Anyway, listen, we're out of time. We'll do this again, and next time we'll disagree on the specific issue of the day. But no, I welcome you anytime, and I hope you'll come back, sir.
All right, take care, Steve.
All right, take care. That's Professor Christopher Parker, co-author of Change They Can't Believe In: The Tea Party and Reactionary Politics in America. All right, on the most eclectic TV radio show in the nation, we'll move from that issue to medical. Our friend, Dr. David Samadi, House Call. Well, he does that on Fox News Channel, so we can't call it that. But he'll be here to answer some questions that should be of interest to all of us regarding our health. Chocolate, good for you? Oh, yeah. Bring it on, baby. But make it dark chocolate, nice and dark and sweet. On the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, all while you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, investments, and home's value. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer, who was the only expert to predict the recession, has released a startling video with shocking evidence that the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Watch it at AftershockVideo.com. AftershockVideo.com.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now, while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall and Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall and Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall and Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall and Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Tonight we are a country awakened to danger and called to defend freedom.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show.
No.
This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show, Friday edition. How could it possibly be Friday again? How is it humanly possible that it's Friday once again? Okay, having said that, some good news if you like chocolate. Now, you've heard about chocolate and dark chocolate specifically and the benefits to the heart, eaten in moderation, certainly. But this is a new one, and it's a Harvard University study. And what it says is that a daily dose of the sugary treat may help prevent Alzheimer's disease. It's a new research at Harvard Medical School found people who drank 2 cups of hot cocoa a day had improved memory and blood flow to the brain. But here's the other thing, though. I mean, and I wish, as soon as we get Dr. Samadi on, we'll talk to him about this. You got to be careful. If you have diabetes, you're not going to be drinking hot cocoa, right? If you're overweight, you add 2 cups of hot cocoa a day to your diet, you're going to keep gaining weight, or if you're borderline, you're going to gain more weight. So there's always a good and a bad, and it's never, black and white, as they say. But this is encouraging. This is encouraging. So we're going to talk to Dr. Samadi about that, ladies and gentlemen. And we're also going to talk to Dr. Samadi about another very interesting story, which has to do, not necessarily the Obamacare website. We'll do that if we have time with him. But also blood pressure drugs. So those of you taking certain blood pressure drugs may lower your risk of Alzheimer's as well. And that's a Johns Hopkins study. Anybody ever have drink beer with Johnny Hopkins? Sorry, that's a movie from, what is that, Step Brothers? A line from Step Brothers. All right, do we have Dr. Samadi ready to go? Because he looks ready to me. All right, hello, Dr. Samadi, Lenox Hill Hospital, Fox News Channel. How are you, sir?
Steve, fantastic day. Nice to talk to you. How are you?
I'm great. And it's good to talk to you, sir. Okay, so good news on 2 fronts. If you're looking for good news on Alzheimer's disease, first is the chocolate study out of Harvard Medical School that found people who drink 2 cups of hot cocoa or hot chocolate or whatever a day had improved memory and blood flow to the brain. The second, which you could address also, is that certain blood pressure drugs lower the Alzheimer's risk. That's from Johns Hopkins. Let's start with the chocolate. While that's great if you love chocolate and hot chocolate and dark chocolate, still in all, you can't just go around eating chocolate if you're A, diabetic, or B, overweight, or watching your diet. So it's kind of a mixed bag, right?
Absolutely. And the big question, even before we discuss this, is why are we talking about Alzheimer's almost every Sunday, and in some of your shows What's so special about Alzheimer? And that's part of the reason why we're having so much problem with Medicare, is because people are living longer, and Alzheimer and osteoporosis and some of these chronic diseases are going to become a real entity. Before, when people were living, the average lifespan was 72, it wasn't a big problem. Now people are going to their mid 80s and 90s. And so Alzheimer is going to become like a real issue. And unfortunately, we have difficult time with the diagnosis, and there's really no treatment. All we know is that some of these anti-inflammation things such as chocolate and cocoa are the ways to go. Now, you're right. If you're diabetic, you're not going to be able to take a lot of this. But you heard me talk about blueberries and strawberries. Any kind of berries have a lot of anti-inflammation. They can clear the free radicals, and they're absolutely helpful with reducing or slowing down some of the issues with Alzheimer. When it comes to these medications, and you said some of the blood pressure medications can also help with Alzheimer. This is a new study that we are finding out coming from Johns Hopkins. And what they found was that over 2,000 participants who were going to go and take this ginkgo biloba that we thought may help with Alzheimer, it turns out that it didn't. But on the observational one, they found that the ones that were taking blood pressure medication, diuretics, ACE inhibitors, were actually reducing the risk of Alzheimer by 50%. This is a big, significant medical breaking news, and we need to follow up on this. The question is it the blood pressure medication that's helping with this, or is it lowering the blood pressure that can reduce the Alzheimer? And that's unknown at this point, but that's a very exciting news coming today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's always so much out there, and I love getting it explained. But you were talking to Dr. David Samadi, Chairman of Urology and Chief of Robotic Surgery at Lenox Hill Hospital. You watch him on Sunday on the Fox News Channel, House Calls. Okay, let me ask you this. I'm sorry, another study, and you and I have talked about this low T and how you have to be careful with getting the treatments. And if you watch the ads for the medication, some of them on television, your 2-year-old baby could start growing a beard, and you're subject to a lowered immune system and all these kinds of side effect possibilities. But here's one, according to Boston University School of Medicine. Boy, a lot of studies coming out in the past couple of days. Testosterone treatment in men with low T has been shown to cut their heart disease risk. Now, again, talk about that, but again, there are other mitigating factors. People who are conscious about their health and willing to take these tests and find out about it and undergo treatment are probably living a better lifestyle. But go ahead.
I think treating the testosterone should not be a knee-jerk reaction. It has to be a real detailed discussion with the family and the patient, and making sure that we don't just react on the number. Number one, make sure you get your testosterone early in the morning, because testosterone in the afternoon is going to be much lower. So always check your testosterone around 7 to 8 a.m. in the doctor's office. If the low testosterone is really symptomatic with something that called menopause, male menopause, where you can't move, you're tired, you're exhausted all the time, socially you don't want to interact with people, you're gaining weight, and it's interfering with your sexual life, etc., that's when the doctor should intervene and give this testosterone. This has to be done after the PSA level for prostate cancer has been checked, because if someone's PSA is high, you don't want to give them all these testosterones. Having said that, we know that low testosterone can cause diabetes and lead to heart disease and stroke, and even interfere with the osteoporosis. So replacing the testosterone in selected group of men could really help them tremendously. And we see that based on this study can reduce the cholesterol, can reduce the heart disease. So my reaction to this is really individualize the care, talk to the patient, and find out who really needs it, and not follow some of these ads that we see on TV all the time.
All right, so one final question. We got about a minute and 10 seconds left. This Obamacare rollout, and what's even worse is these insurance companies dropping individual policyholders millions across the country just in the last few days.
I think clearly this hasn't been well thought of. They're finding out that the rush of people, over 700,000 people were trying to get in. Their computer system and the softwares are not taking care of this kind of mass volume coming in. So clearly, there hasn't been a good infrastructure set up for this. And, When everyone was worried about Obamacare 6 months ago, a year ago, I surprised you, even though I'm not a big fan of it. But I said, just let it roll. And you're going to see that short term, we're going to see a lot of mess, but long term, good doctors will come to the surface and the patients are going to follow them. This is nothing but, taking care of the quantity of volume of people. And I'm afraid the quality is going to be affected. And you know me, it's one of the reasons why, I always individualize and take care of the patients hands-on.
Right.
This is going the wrong direction, and it's a big problem.
Yeah.
And so,
No doubt. Doc, thanks for joining us. We'll watch you Sunday on Fox News Channel, and we'll speak to you again next week.
Good to see you.
Thank you, my friend. All right, Dr. David Samadi, ladies and gentlemen, Lenox Hill Hospital, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. When we come back, the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton. We have so much to talk about. Iran close to a bomb, very close. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now, and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now, while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is a critical resource for anyone over the age of 50. So go to SocialSecurity311.com now to find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Receive unrestricted access to LinkNet's secure database of global analysis. All of our special reports, previous analyses, and exclusive video interviews with intelligence insiders are available to members 24 hours a day. But you also get top-notch analysis that resembles the President's Daily Brief, the classified intelligence assessment delivered to the President of the United States every morning. LinkNet also sends breaking news emails to our membership list. If there is a development of global proportions or a terror alert, our subscribers are always the first to know. I hope you now have a better understanding of what LinkNet is, but more importantly, recognize how truly invaluable LinkNet can be. As the old saying goes, knowledge is power.
Join LinkNet for $1. Go to linknet.com/radio.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
And welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now, our friend, former ambassador to the United Nations, you said, John Bolton. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi, Steve. How are you? Thanks for having me back on.
It's always my pleasure. Thanks for making the time. Okay, so first report is that Iran announces that they're going to build 34 new nuclear sites, working with Russia to boost their nuclear program. Then comes word that Iran may be a month from a bomb, according to the Institute for Science and International Security. At the same time, the administration's meeting with Senate and congressional leaders not to tighten the sanctions on Iran. It's almost like fantasy land.
Well, I think it shows that Iran believes it has the stronger hand, and it's acting on that belief. You know, the Russians have been eager for over 10 years to build more nuclear reactors for Iran, and why not? The reactors would cost between $1 and $2 billion. It's good work for Russian nuclear physicists and technicians, and it makes a lot of sense for Iran. It gives them more reactors that they can use to reprocess spent fuel to get plutonium to build nuclear weapons. And that report you mentioned, which puts the capability that Iran has to enrich the uranium it already has partially enriched to get it up to weapons grade levels at a month and a half. Honestly, I've thought they've been at that point for a long time. You know, and that assumes, by the way, we have perfect knowledge of what Iran is doing, which we don't. There's a lot we don't know about Iran's program, and it's all bad news. But coming from an objective, nonpartisan source like ISIS, I think now it makes it inescapable to everybody but the most obtuse that Iran is continuing to make steady, sure progress toward a nuclear weapons capability, and that the Obama administration's notion that they can chit-chat Iran out of its weapons is fanciful.
Yeah, so you would obviously advise the Congress to move ahead with this bill, tightening the sanctions and not going along with the Obama administration.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, even former Secretary Colin Powell, when he was in office in the first Bush administration, and who I disagreed with on Iran policy, once said to Foreign Secretary Jack Straw of the United Kingdom, referring to the Iranians, he said, "Jack, you've got to hold an axe over these guys' head. And if you don't hold the axe over the head, you have zero chance of making progress." I don't think you can make progress even with the axe, because they don't think the axe is ever going to fall. And I think for the Obama administration, that's certainly true. The president's never going to use force against the Iranian program, so they're not in a hurry. They're not in a hurry. The only fear they have is what Israel may or may not decide to do.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I know they're keeping a close eye. And what about the reports that do you believe that the U.S. is pressuring Israel? And if so, what would they use as pressure? We're going to cut off your aid? We won't cooperate with you? I mean, what could they do to leverage Israel that way?
Well, what I've been worried about for a long time is that the administration fears an Israeli preemptive strike against Iran's nuclear weapons program more than they fear an Iranian nuclear weapon. I think although the administration denies this, they say they don't believe in containment. They say they don't want Iran to get nuclear weapons. I think, honestly, deep down, they believe that they can contain and deter a nuclear Iran. I think that's delusional, but I think that's what people in the Obama administration think. So there's no doubt for the first 4.5 years, there was a lot of pressure on Israel, explicit and implicit, not to undertake any military action. And I think one of the most important reasons to the Obama White House why this latest round of negotiation with Iran is off and running is that is yet another argument against Israel taking military action.
We're talking to Ambassador John Bolton here on the Steve Malzberg Show. What's your take on what's going on with the revelation that the NSA monitored calls of 35 world leaders, including Ms. Merkel's cell phone, the European world up in arms? Now, isn't it commonplace that we would do this and assume that they're doing it to us? Is it just the revelation that gives them fuel to make us think about this? And so where do you fit in on this?
Well, it doesn't bother me at all if we are listening to all of their cell phones. I mean, let's be clear here. It is the duty of the President of the United States to take steps to protect America. And if that means conducting espionage even on friends, absolutely, as a matter of principle. Now, whether in fact we're actually doing anything like this is a very different question, and it goes to what I think is not being covered in the press here. These new revelations, which may or may not be true, all come from Edward Snowden. And those who said at the beginning that he was a kind of whistleblower, this is the proof that Edward Snowden is a traitor. This release of information is intended to harm U.S. relations with its allies. It's intended to have us cut back our espionage activities. This is all clear anti-American activity. And I think people need to understand that. That's the real aim of all of these leaks that we're seeing now. The fact is, as a matter of political prudence or as a matter of resource allocations, would you rather spy on Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany, or 15 other people in China? I mean, I could argue the resource allocation point, but as a matter of general principle, we do what we need to do. Now, just make one other point. It could well be we were listening in on somebody else's phone who called Merkel, and that's how that fact of a Merkel conversation came into our possession. So there's a lot here I don't acknowledge just because Glenn Greenwald and The Guardian print it, or any newspaper for that matter, that it's true. That's what they say. I think there's a lot more here we don't know about. And I'll make my final point here, Steve. It distresses me that we're even talking about this.
Yep.
This is I don't mean distressing that you've raised it, but distressing that our nation is so much at risk, that we have so many enemies so determined to cause us harm that they'll leak these most sensitive secrets to the press, knowing how much harm it will cause our country. It is a dangerous time.
Now, yeah, very, very true. You got time for another one, sir?
Sure.
Okay. You wrote a great piece at National Review, which talked about the Nobel Peace Prize being given to OPCW, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, for good intentions. They've accomplished nothing but good intentions, and it takes me back, I guess, to Barack Obama as well. He didn't do anything. He barely sat down in the Oval Office, and they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize.
The Nobel Peace Prize may be the most prestigious award in the whole world, and it's a tragedy because the pursuit of peace is something we all want, but we want peace with security. We want to see real peace, not fake peace. And the Nobel Peace Prize Committee over the years has made some of the silliest decisions about who gets the award, and in this case, it it's an award made because they're fascinated with international organizations. They've given it to many other elements of the UN system, and it's really sad that this legacy of Alfred Nobel, who understood the power of war and the risks that we all face, that it gets frittered away with prizes like this.
And finally, on 60 Minutes this Sunday, Lara Logan talked to a British citizen who helped train Libyan guards at the embassy in Benghazi, and the State Department would not allow those guards to carry weapons. That's number one. He talked about how he was on the phone with someone involved in the attack, in the middle of the attack, one of his guards, and they said, we're going to pistol whip you, we're going to make it look good, we don't want to kill Libyans, we're here to kill Americans. Anything there surprise you, especially including the fact that those guards, quote unquote, couldn't carry weapons?
No, and I think this is another demonstration. There is so much more to come out about Benghazi. Not only what happened on September the 11th, but the utter lack of preparations, the idea that we were living in our people were living in a safe country, that there was no threat from Al Qaeda and terrorism, and what happened after the attack. Still a lot to be revealed. So I give great credit to Lara Logan for bringing this story forward. I give great credit to the people at Fox, to Catherine Herridge, Jennifer Griffin, who for a year were reporting on this, carrying this story almost alone. There's much more here. I think the American people understand this really is a real scandal. This is not one of Obama's phony scandals. It goes to the very essence of the problems of Obama's foreign policy, and we should not let it die until we have all the facts.
Absolutely. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us today, Ben. Thanks for your time.
Thanks again, Steve.
My pleasure. That's I don't want to say congressman. That's former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Yeah, incredible. Just incredible stuff that this British citizen who calls himself Morgan Jones is saying to Lara Logan. We'll definitely let you hear more of that as the show progresses. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. We are a mess domestically. We are a mess with foreign policy. 39-7629. We are a mess domestically. We are a mess with foreign policy built, and the president is dying to shake the bloodstained hand of the new president of Iran and put Israel at risk, put the West at risk, put us at risk. Doesn't faze him. That's what he's all about. Yeah, on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. You need to watch out because thousands of new Obamacare rules are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck coming down, and I don't see any results yet. I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy. Get the Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere, or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Newsmax Now update. I'm Ken. World leaders say trust U.S. spying. That the United States has run countries, including possibly bugging Chancellor Angela Merkel's mobile phone, continue to dominate the meeting of EU leaders. The two-day Brussels summit, called to tackle a range of social and economic issues, is now being overshadowed by debate on how to respond to the alleged espionage by Washington against two of its closest European allies.
Data protection must apply no matter if it concerns the emails of citizens or the mobile phone of Angela Merkel.
Earlier this week, President Obama called German Chancellor Angela Merkel and reassured her that the United States is not monitoring her cell phone communications. Since the NSA monitoring scandal began earlier this year, several U.S. allies have raised concerns over electronic eavesdropping. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius is rebuffing calls from Republicans for her to resign over the troubled launch of the Obamacare sign-up website. She says the people asking her to resign are, quote, people I don't work for. Sebelius says no one is getting fired for the glitches and that her main focus is to get the Obamacare website up and running.
It's better today than it was on October 1st, but it's a long way from perfect.
Contractors responsible for the troubled healthcare.gov website say last-minute changes and not enough testing led to widespread problems. Brett Favre is dealing with some healthcare issues of his own. The former NFL star says he was contacted by the St. Louis Rams to see if he would be interested in playing again, but he turned them down. Favre tells a Washington radio station he's suffering from memory loss due to concussions sustained during his playing days. The NFL has been dealing with concussion issues now for years. The league agreed to pay $765 million this summer to settle lawsuits from former players. The Olympic flame for the Sochi Winter Olympic Games arrived at the North Pole. The flame was carried to the North Pole on a nuclear-powered icebreaker. Renowned Arctic and Antarctic explorer Archer Chilingorov led the expedition. The Sochi 2014 Olympic torch relay began in Moscow on October 7th and will end at the Sochi 2014 opening ceremony in February, having traveled approximately 40,000 miles around Russia, carried by more than 14,000 torchbearers. Coming up in a Newsmax exclusive, the Chairman Emeritus of the House Foreign Affairs Committee joins us to talk Iran and explain why she disapproves of President Obama's outreach to Iran's President Rouhani. And we're taking you to the Bronx Zoo today for a look at the world's largest pumpkin. Not only will its size surprise you, but what one artist did with it will shock you.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is a critical resource for anyone over the age of 50. So go to SocialSecurity311.com now to find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
And welcome back. In a Newsmax exclusive, Florida Republican Representative Ileana Ros-Lehtinen charges that terrorist groups that attempt to undermine the U.S. national security will always have a connection to Iran.
I know that the Iranian regime is not sincere. I think that Benjamin Netanyahu said it quite clearly when he said, with Ahmadinejad, he was a wolf in wolf's clothing. Rouhani is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
And Great Gourds, the world's largest pumpkin, is on display at the New York Botanical Garden, weighing in at 2,032 pounds. It was grown by Tim and Susan Matheson of Napa, California. Master pumpkin carver Ray Villafane turned the pumpkin into a gigantic sculpture with a Venus flytrap and wasps overhead. For more exclusive interviews and content, stay with Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter, and this has been your Newsmax Now update for October 24th. Take care.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hour number 2 of the Friday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll go into Malzberg's Media Madness with our friend Noel Shepard from newsbusters.org. But we're less than a week away from Halloween. I never liked dressing up for, I guess as a little kid I did. But I never, as a young adult or whatever. And someone just asked me in the newsroom, Matt just asked me, what am I going to be for Halloween? I said, I'm going to be a make-believe TV radio host. How's that? Anyway, so I'm not into the holiday, and my son's 14, and I just said, you're not going to go trick-or-treating, are you? He says, why not? I said, because it's for kids, it's for babies. But that's not true. I mean, you look at these Halloween stores that open up, seasonal, like Christmas tree stores and all that, Christmas stores that open up, and, Halloween, these stores are packed with adults, and the costumes are for adults and teenagers and old people and kids and everybody in between. So now you look at this story here. University of Colorado Boulder tells students to avoid costumes including cowboys, Indians, white trash, or anything potentially deemed offensive. Now remember that remark. Anything potentially deemed offensive. Joining us right now is Jocelyn Smith, Secretary of STARS, which is Students Teaching About Racism in Society at Ohio University. And her group's campaign is against hurtful Halloween costumes. Hello, Jocelyn. How are you?
Hi. It's nice to meet you.
Well, it's nice to talk to you as well. All right. So you are a student?
Yes, I'm a sophomore here at Ohio University.
Okay, so tell me what you're looking to have people do, or I guess more importantly, not do on Halloween.
The point of STARS is not to preach or to point blame towards anybody. It's to educate our students about how they might be offending other people. Like, no one goes out on Halloween intending to offend people, but they don't understand that when they put on a costume that is of a particular race and misrepresenting us, it's offensive.
Well, it's Halloween, with all due respect.
They're not
walking around during the day on their jobs in these costumes or dressed up in other races or whatever. It's Halloween.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, 12-year-olds are walking the streets on Halloween, and they see a costume of a person dressed as an African-American, and that's their image of an African-American.
Really? Because 12-year-olds have never seen an African-American before, and now they see a costume on Halloween as a 12-year-old, and now that's...
African-Americans
wait,
in Athens, Ohio,
let me finish.
And all they have is MTV to see who African Americans are. Yeah, they're going to get a certain idea of who they are.
Well, if you want to take on MTV and stereotypes, then I think you're doing something worthwhile, because if you watch MTV, it's all about bees and hoes and violence and thugs.
Right.
So I think your energy might be more well directed towards that, because Halloween, like I said, I have no use for the holiday, but or for the whatever it is, holiday or event. But I just don't understand. Now, does your group also extend this to what they're talking about, the University of Colorado Boulder, Cowboys, Indians, potentially anything this is their words, deemed offensive?
Well, I can't speak for every member of STARS, but I know personally that I'm not offended when I see a cowboy. But the thing about Ohio University is that we're based in Appalachian, Ohio, and what a lot of students do is make fun of townies, people with low income, and I don't know. They make fun of the townies, and it's really offensive because they are a culture in themselves, and no one really takes time out to acknowledge that. And
but
I think
Jocelyn, you ever watch Saturday Night Live? You ever watch a comedy show? You ever? I think and I'm not defending all this, but I'm just asking you, why are you picking on? And I'm not a defender of Halloween, so I'm kind of like torn here. But why are you picking on Halloween? To me, if I might try to not psychoanalyze you, but just get inside your head a little bit, I think this is a university culture that's that's permeating at universities all over this country. I could cite you chapter and verse of student organizations and individual students have been penalized, thrown out, suspended because they dared to say this or that might be offensive to this group or that group. Aren't we going nuts? Isn't this America? And don't people have the judgment to know if something's being done in a good-natured way, if something's being done maliciously or viciously? And don't people have freedom of speech and expression?
They sure do, but the point is not to make a joke of a culture. It's to be historically accurate and to maintain the integrity of a culture.
All right, so the Frankenstein masks, the Bill Clinton masks, the Hillary masks, the Obama masks, the George Bush masks.
The thing is with STARS, we would rather you represent a specific person than marginalize a complete culture. When you start,
but you said you had no problem. But see, here's what you said, and I find this very interesting. And by the way, we're talking to I just want to make sure I get it right here. Jocelyn Smith, Secretary of STARS, which is Students Teaching About Racism and Society at Ohio University. Not Ohio University. Ohio. Is it Ohio?
Ohio University.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Ohio State. Ohio University. Okay. You said Cowboys. No, that doesn't offend you. Well. You're not a cowboy. Now, what if it offends cowboys? Now, wait a minute. What about an Indian, a headdress or something of that nature? I mean,
although it doesn't offend me, I'm not going to dress up as a cowboy.
Say that again?
I know that it might offend somebody.
Say that again?
Although I'm not a cowboy and it doesn't offend me, I know that it might offend someone else, and I'm not going to choose to dress up as one.
Well, okay. So what is left? Besides dressing up as individual people.
Cartoon characters, superheroes, animals. There's so many things to choose from. I don't even mind if someone decides to dress up as their president, honestly, as long as they're being the specific president. I just don't.
So if someone dresses up as Obama and it's not a flattering mask or it implies something.
No, because it's not specifically geared towards my race and who I am representing.
Are you kidding? Do you know that the mainstream media accuses any conservative, any politician, anybody who dares to disagree with any policy of Obama as doing it because they, quote unquote, can't stand a black man in the White House? Where have you been? That's what the media says. That's what the left wing. Go watch MSNBC. Go listen to Alan Grayson, who calls the Tea Party the KKK. I mean, it's out of hand, Jocelyn. And again, do you have an organization that would go after MTV, that would go after rappers, that would go after this kind of hip hop culture, or is it, just focused on Halloween?
I mean, I feel like we do try to spread awareness all throughout the year, but our main focus is our Halloween poster because it makes people feel they have the right to do anything that they want.
They do. People have the right to do anything that they want. They do. That's the thing. You don't like it, look away. You don't like it, then don't do it. But people have the right to do what they want.
They sure
up to a certain,
do.
if it's not
the
illegal.
Point of the poster campaign is to make sure people know that they are in fact, being offensive to some people.
Yes, everybody's offensive to some people. Jocelyn, I'm offensive to many people. Anybody with an opinion, anybody making a statement, anybody with a point of view is offensive. Anybody exercising free speech, if you're a Republican and you say something, you're offending a Democrat. If you're a Democrat, you're offending a Republican. Sometimes they're more vile and vicious. When the president calls the Republicans hostage takers and kidnappers and holding guns to people's heads, that's offensive. Everybody's offensive. I mean, to wipe out offensive behavior or offensive speech is that going down a very dangerous path, because everything is offensive to someone. Don't you get that?
We're not trying to silence anyone. We're not trying to tell people to stop. We're trying to let them understand that what they're doing could offend you. We're trying to educate.
So what? What's wrong with offending someone?
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
A student that told me they were dressing up as an African American, I would confront them and say, why do you think that this is funny? What is funny about this costume?
So there are generic African American costumes? I don't even understand.
A generic African American costume, black face, and however else you would describe the stereotypical African American.
All right, you could object to that as an African American. If someone dressed up as a Jewish person or a rabbi, I'm Jewish. I couldn't care less. I mean, if that's what they want to do, I don't care. But do you agree with the statement that everything said and done is offensive to someone?
I agree with that.
All right, so then where are you going? Where are you going? You just care because you're African American, or the other people in your group, I don't even know what race they are, they care because they'll be offended. Maybe there's Native Americans or whatever. I mean, everything's offensive to someone. Let it be. As long as they're not bothering anybody or going over a legal line, leave them alone.
I think it bothers me because it perpetuates the stereotype, and it makes it harder for me to be taken seriously from a day-to-day basis.
Really? Because somebody dresses up, right, because someone dresses up in a costume on Halloween, it's going to influence. Now, you used a 12-year-old as an example. I think you'd have to go to maybe I don't even know what age the cognitive it would set in, but the cognitive aspect of this. But you'd have to go to a 5-year-old and say that later in life he's going to say, oh, so something's flashing in my head that I saw an African-American poorly portrayed or offensively portrayed or badly portrayed on Halloween, so they're bad people. But I don't think a 12-year-old or anybody older or an adult
things from that person.
I don't think an adult. I don't see how someone wearing anything on Halloween is going to make it harder for you in your life to be taken seriously.
I'm sorry.
I don't see how anybody wearing a costume, as a Jewish person if they're not Jewish, a black person if they're not black, Indian or American Indian if they're not that, a white person if they're black and they dress as a white person. I don't think that any of that, given it's on Halloween, which is the point here, one of the points, is going to adversely affect the way you or me or that American Indian person, the real American Indian, are perceived by other people during the rest of the year or the rest of your life. I mean, that's just
funny.
it.
I see differently.
All right. Well, that's what makes the world go round. But do me a favor. Go after the thuggery in the hip-hop culture and go after the shootings and the crime in the black community and do something worthwhile and make a difference instead of Halloween costumes, with all due respect. But having said that, you should be proud of yourself that you're getting involved. But don't look to penalize people for free speech. That's just my opinion. All right?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate you coming on. Jocelyn Smith, Secretary of STARS. That's almost like Secretary of State. Secretary of STARS. Students teaching about racism in society. No. People getting involved in the college level, fighting for what they believe in. However, I fear that this is more of the same garbage where, you hear about all over college campuses, all over the country, every day, freedom of speech is not allowed. You can't say what you want. They have designated areas for free speech. If you offend this one, you offend that one. It's nuts. It's nuts. So watch where you send your kid to school. But again, it's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's the point of the holiday, or whatever the heck it's called. Not a holiday. Anyway, all right, we're coming back. What do you think? Is she off base or am I off base? World Series time. I like to make that little sports analogy for baseball. 877 Newsmax, 877-639-7629. Let me hear from you on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now, while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES, 855-500-DIABETES.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the 625-MY-TV.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, and you may be forced to watch helplessly as you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, all while your home's value is eradicated. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer believes we will soon stare down a secret crisis that will rival the Great Depression. It was Wiedemer's 2005 book, America's Bubble Economy, that warned of coming meltdowns in our housing and stock markets. Washington did not heed his call, and folks on Main Street lost $50 trillion from the recession. His New York Times best-selling book, Aftershock, predicted lost $50 trillion from the recession. His New York Times best-selling book, Aftershock, predicted startling video with shocking evidence the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Join us at Aftershock2013.com, Aftershock2013.com.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Malzberg Show.
All right, folks, we're back. The lead story on Drudge right now is that a neighbor of the owner of the Washington Redskins, Daniel Snyder, has registered the name Washington Bravehearts for use for, quote, entertainment in the nature of football games, end quote. So there's a lot of controversy now, or a lot of speculation, I should say. Snyder's wealthy buddy and Potomac, Maryland neighbor, Aris Mardrosian, registered the trademark and launched Washington Bravehearts, LLC on October 17th, according to TMZ. But this spokesman for the Skins, Redskins, that is. Did I mention the name of the team, Redskins? They say there's no imminent name change for the Washington Redskins. Now, I didn't ask our guest, Jocelyn, about that, but I'm sure Jocelyn would have been very, very much in favor of changing the evil name of the Washington Redskins to something, maybe like the Bravehearts. All right, let's get to the phones. 877-NEWSMAX, 877-639-7629. We have Justin down in South Florida, undoubtedly listening to us on 850 WFTL. Correct, sir?
Absolutely correct.
All right,
Steve.
thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
And before, I just want to ask you one quick question.
One quickie.
Is Art Rush Jr. still with us?
No, Art Rush Jr. passed away, 2-3 years ago. And
so he's with his beloved Edna.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Art was a sports talk legend here in New York. I started my career at WABC with him. I was his producer for many years, and back in the early 80s, actually started with him at WMCA in 79. He did a sports talk show on Saturday. But also recently passing away yesterday, Bill Mazer.
I heard.
Yeah, Bill Mazer at age 92 passed away yesterday. Another New York sports legend in the broadcasting field. I mean, I grew up, as so many did, with Sports Extra. Bill Mazer, Lee Leonard, Orrin Stevens. I'm trying to think of the crowd that Art Shamsky participated. Not Art, Dave Jennings was in on that. Anyway, but so they're both
I
missed.
wanted to comment on what we find offensive and what we don't find offensive.
Yeah.
And I think you're missing extremes here. As I told your producer, a couple of years ago when one of the royal family dressed up as a Nazi for a costume party, I personally found that very, very offensive. Now, since I'm down here in the South, I have seen, and this is all trick-or-treaters, these are kids. One was dressed up as a Klansman. There was no burning cross, though. And I've also seen situations where someone was dressed up as a religious Jew with Monopoly money hanging out of his pockets.
All right, that's
all very, very offensive.
Okay, that's all offensive, and it's all sick. But you know what I say? I mean, it's just a reflection of the parents of these kids. Shame on them, but I don't think it should be outlawed, and I don't think anybody who does it. I don't think these kids should be reported, or I just say. Just as long as they don't do anything to anybody, then it's sick and it's twisted. But it's Halloween. It's Halloween. You're supposed to dress up and be sick. If their parents urge them to be offensive and disrespectful and disgusting, whether it's blackface or what you just described, it's terrible. But making that a cause when there's so much else going on an everyday basis on MTV, for instance. I think she's misguided. All right. I thank you for the call, though, Justin. Steve Malzberg.
I'm glad to see that we're both alive and well.
Thank you. You too, sir. Noel Shepard, Newsbusters, Media Madness next, right here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now, while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES, 855-500-DIABETES.
What is Lignet? Lignet is knowledge. Lignet is power. Lignet is global. Top-level officials, U.S. intelligence officers, national security advisors, foreign operatives, all reporting directly to you. What is Lignet? Lignet is confidential. Lignet is sensitive. Lignet is security. What is Lignet? They're the ones taking the world's pulse. If you're not in the know, you're not on Lignet.com. You've been briefed.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Tonight we are a country awakened to danger and called to defend freedom.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show.
No.
This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
You know what the president should do? Put the NSA in charge of the website. That way there's nothing to fill out. They already have all our information. See? Just put your name in. They have all. Oh, fantastic. Well.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Steve Malzberg Show. A little bit of Jay Leno put the NSA in charge of Obamacare since they already have our information. And that can mean one thing and one thing only. If it's Jay Leno time, it's time for Noel Shepard, Associate Editor, Newsbusters.org, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Malzberg's Media Madness. Lots to talk about with Noel, and we are in the process of getting him. Not sure why we don't, but we will. I promise you that, and we have a lot of information to talk about. There's remember the Malcolm in the Middle star, Frankie Muniz? Well, he tweeted something out which bucks the Hollywood trend. We'll let you see what he tweeted out. These are all stories that Noel has covered. Okay, and I wonder if I hope I never wrote 530 to him. Let me see. Sometime here he is. Let's see. Skype. Nope. Call me. All right. Here's his number, guys. Come in and get my BlackBerry. Here it comes. And this is real TV and radio, ladies and gentlemen. I got a BlackBerry, baby. I got a BlackBerry until they go under. Until they come in the middle of the night and take that BlackBerry away from me because BlackBerry is bankrupt. I will have a BlackBerry. I don't know. I like pushing the buttons. I don't like sliding, but I've never really had an iPhone. So So we'll see. We'll see what'll happen. But anyway, lots of stories we are getting, Noel, presently as we speak. Coming up later in the show, we'll speak to Alfonso Aguilar, Executive Director of Latino Partnership for Conservative Principles in Washington, D.C., and we'll ask him if he believes that the Republicans should take Obama's bait when it comes to immigration reform. And then Zach McCright, co-host of Zach and Rammer Show on ESPN Radio in St. Louis, take a preview of World Series Game 3 tomorrow night in St. Louis. But right now, here he is. You know him, you love him, Noel Shepard. I started doubting myself, Noel. I said, oh, my God, did I tell him by mistake the next hour? But nope, there you are. I looked at my old-fashioned BlackBerry, and there was your number.
Yeah, no, Skype is having problems, not letting me in. I don't know whether you people are having problems today.
No, and you know what? NSA, we just played Leno making an NSA joke. I said your name in the same right out of the cut, and now you can't get on Skype. I fear that there's a connection.
It's very, very possible. Actually, I did see a drone coming over my backyard. It's very, very possible. Actually, I did see a drone coming over my backyard.
Drones with, moving your eyes in sunglasses or something.
Yeah. Well, my wife is convinced that there are satellites on, keeping track of us all the time because of my writing.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, and let's start. Let's start with Leno was one, but I remember it was Ed Asner who you pointed out said that Hollywood didn't speak out against. Remember the bombing of Syria that we were talking about, and Hollywood wouldn't speak out against that because they were afraid of being called racist. Well, here's one guy, Frankie Muniz, who was a former star of Malcolm in the Middle, and we could put cut 43 up for the folks watching at Newsmax TV. He had an interesting tweet, did he not?
Yeah, and actually, as it turns out, this isn't his first tweet about Obamacare. He retweeted a Leno joke about Obamacare. So I'm not really sure what Frankie's politics are here, but I think that when you look at what Hollywood now, how they're reacting to, or at least some of them are reacting to the NSA domestic spying, domestic surveillance. If Obamacare continues to go in the direction that it's going, and of course I'm sure you've been talking all week, suddenly now we've got Democrats trying to blame the rollout problems on Republicans. I think that's only going to work with MSNBC viewers. I don't think it's going to work with the rest of the nation. So it'd be interesting here if we really start seeing, because Hollywood clearly was behind Obamacare. I think Hollywood probably wants it to go a step further, go to single payer. So they sit back and they watch what's going on with this awful rollout. Be interesting to start seeing some defections.
Absolutely, and just for the record, the tweet said from Frankie Muniz, this Obamacare launch is an embarrassment to the American people. How many more promises have to be broken? So kudos to him.
Yeah.
Now Jon Stewart is another one. And Jon Stewart, boy, oh boy, did he do a job, and you wrote about this back at the beginning of the week. Did he do a job on Obama on his show? This will be cut 37. Let's hit cut 37.
The Affordable Care Act is not just a website. The health insurance that's available to people is working just fine. Instead of paying $1,600 per month, we have a plan that will only cost us $692 a month. And that's a good deal. The product is good. I want people to be able to get this great product. And that product is working. It's really good.
When did the President of the United States turn into Gil from The Simpsons?
And for those like me who didn't know who Gil from The Simpsons was, here's cut 38.
Ah, she's a beauty. You can't beat a Coleco. How many can I put you down for? A lot? Please say a lot. I need this.
To be fair, he just wants it's a good product. All right, but listen. He didn't stop, baby. Ron Popeil kept on selling.
You just heard Janice's story. She owns her own small business. She recently became the first woman to enroll in coverage through Delaware's exchange.
So that's one. People say you can't use the website. Have you told them about Janice? From Delaware? Hey, but you know what? God bless. She signed up. She deserves to be up there to prove that this can be done easily.
And then he went on to say, of course, she's not married anymore. She had to change her name, this and that, but she's got the insurance. So it's pretty cool for Jon Stewart to do that.
It actually was marvelous, and it reminded me of, I don't know whether you and I have spoken about this, but, Stewart, prior to George W. Bush getting elected, was actually, The Daily Show was a must-watch. It was really marvelous stuff. And actually, even through much of the first term, Stewart was acceptable. But once we got down to 2004 and the war began to go the wrong way, he became so anti-Bush and so John Kerry that he became unwatchable. But there was a point in time prior to 2004, this was really a fabulous show, and this reminded me of what he used to do before he seemed to feel that he had to be totally in bed with Democrats. And this was a blast from the past. It was really a very funny, enjoyable segment.
It was. It really was. We're talking to Noel Shepard, associate editor of newsbusters.org, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Okay, here's a story that you were kind enough to pick up on from our show. Senator Marco Rubio weighing in on, and it's funny. Earlier I had on Christopher Parker, the co-author of the book Bashing the Tea Party, Change They Can't Believe In, who says the Tea Party's racist. But I had him on. I thought he was actually we were going to go at it, and he disagrees with what Grayson did. He thought Grayson went too far in his comparison to the KKK. But I asked Marco Rubio about what Grayson did, because they're both from Florida, and he had this to say, and he brought up the media cut 6.
Well, it's not surprising. This is an individual who's had a history of outrageous and ridiculous claims and comments, and he's not held accountable by anybody. The mainstream media just kind of ignores it. If that were a Republican or a conservative, of course, they'd be calling for their resignation. There'd be mass protests. But you won't hear any talk about that. And I think it just exposes the hypocrisy in the mainstream media. But I'm not surprised that this individual did that. He's been embarrassing the state of Florida now for the better part of 4 to 6 years.
Bravo.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting. This guy Grayson is so off the hook, and I don't know. Did you see Krauthammer's interview with Stewart? Because with Jon Stewart, it
yes.
was actually quite well, and he brought this up. He said that the media likes to talk about some of the extreme wing of the Republican Party and call them wackos, but there's nobody as crazy in the Republican Party as Alan Grayson is in the Democrat Party.
No, absolutely not.
It's not even close. And there's nobody as crazy in the Republican Party as Maxine Waters. It's not even close. And there's nobody as crazy, if you remember, was it Shirley McKinney?
Oh, no, Cynthia McKinney.
Cynthia McKinney, yeah. No,
from Atlanta. She was a congresswoman from Atlanta. She's now, last I saw of her a few days ago, she was in Syria blasting the U.S.
Oh, yeah, that was one of my people.
Yeah.
Yep. In Syria, blasting the United States, a former congresswoman.
Yeah.
On extraordinary. So, yeah, I thought Rubio was spot on, and I think that if we had an honest media, our catchphrase here, if we had an honest media, they'd be calling Grayson out for those remarks. There's no question. And by the way, they'd also be calling out, MSNBC should have censured, and this isn't something that you and I were going to talk about, but they should have censured Chris Hayes for his KKK thing a couple of days ago.
He put 3 kings from a deck of cards in the background on the screen behind him, and one had the head, if I'm not mistaken, Rubio, Cruz, and who was the other?
I think it's Mike Lee.
Yeah. Right. So and that KKK.
As I think it was George Carlin said years ago, you don't have to be Fellini to figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Cruz now. Another story that you did. I think this one was yesterday. Ted Cruz being called a racist. Matthews went nuts on him because he had the nerve to go back home to Texas after the shutdown and all the craziness and said, it feels so good to be back in real America.
Right.
And Matthews took that innocent statement, which everyone in the world has made as a politician, and turned it into this guy's a virulent racist. And now, because he said the Obamacare website was run by Nigerian email scammers who there are Nigerian email scammers.
There are.
Now he's erased. Here's cut 44. Get a load of this from Congressman. Well, this is Michael Eric Dyson and Congressman Matt Cartwright from Pennsylvania, Democrat. 44.
I think they have to cringe when they hear things like what you quoted Senator Cruz saying at the top of the show. I mean, jokes about Nigerian scammers. I wonder how much off the cuff that really was and how calculated it was to appeal to Senator Cruz's base, many of whom believe that the president is from Africa.
Oh, my God.
No, I mean, what's so dishonest about this, and it certainly it's possible that that Michael Eric Dyson isn't familiar with Nigerian email scams.
Or the congressman, I guess.
But the congressman certainly should be. And
sure.
Joe Walsh wrote about this and all of the outrage. I became a bank manager in 1989, and one of the first scams that I was apprised of by my bosses was the Nigerian mail fraud. I mean, the FBI has a whole page at its website about Nigerian mail fraud. They've been around since the early 80s.
And in your piece at newsbusters.org, you actually quote from the FBI website the warning about the Nigerian scams.
Yeah, it was a very, very serious problem in the 80s. They typically were going after seniors. They would send a letter to a senior saying, you've been awarded this. There's money that's going to be coming to you for this, blah, 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 blah. All we need is your information. And this has been around for a while, and it's so well known. It's so part of the culture, for lack of a better term. Late-night comedians have been making jokes about Nigerian email and about Nigerian mail fraud for decades. I think I remember Johnny Carson making a joke about it. I've heard Jay Leno make jokes about this. But no, Ted Cruz makes a joke about it. He's racist.
Yeah, it is so sickening. All right, and one more for you, and that's Jeff Greenfield, of all people, of PBS, formerly, of course, of ABC for so many years, and CBS. But anyway, he's on MSNBC with this roundtable, this panel of David Corn, Jody Reed, Katrina vanden Heuvel, and he actually called them advocates. Yep. Here's cut number 9. Give a listen to cut number 9.
One of the things that struck me about Obama when he came out, and frankly, I have felt this about the president since he was campaigning, he talks too much.
So you think he should be less transparent?
A 28-minute speech is 26 minutes too long about what happened. It was surrounded by the same kind of, human props, that poor pregnant diabetic who almost collapsed. It was too long. It was what he might have learned from Winston Churchill was to begin by saying, we screwed up.
But he did.
We screwed up.
Yeah.
We screwed up.
Now, I think, but then he went on to actually call them advocates, and they said they weren't. But that was shocking.
It was, and what was interesting is I tried to identify. I couldn't really find any instances at Newsbusters of Jeff Greenfield being the source of or the subject of one of our articles. So I'm not really sure whether he's been guilty of media bias himself in the past. But yeah, that was an interesting thing to be on. I mean, and he's there to plug his new book. So it's kind of interesting to be on MSNBC with David Corn, Joy Reid, Katrina vanden Heuvel, and Alex Wagner. Now, to put it in perspective, Alex Wagner and vanden Heuvel both write for The Nation.
Right.
Vanden Heuvel is the editor.
She's the editor, yeah.
These people are as far left as you can get in America, and there he is talking about how they're advocates. I thought it was really delicious.
Yeah, good for him. Got some guts left in him. All right, my friend, big week, and I'm sure next week will be another big week, and we thank you for your time as always, sir.
And maybe Skype will be working next week.
You never know. Have your wife keep a lookout for those satellites.
Well, but I've been told I've got more of a face for radio.
Oh, no, come on. All the people watching at Newsmax TV are saying, oh, come on, I have to wait another whole week to see him live on Skype. You got to be, all the chicks, they're moaning. I mean, in disgust.
I've got serious conservative groupies.
Take care, Noel.
See you, buddy.
Noel Shepard, ladies and gentlemen, associate editor of newsbusters.org. We're coming back 877 Newsmax on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Okay.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now, while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is a critical resource for anyone over the age of 50. So go to SocialSecurity311.com now to find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com.
Twice already this year, the U.S. Mint has run out. Last time this happened, the silver price jumped 40%. It's time to take advantage with this special offer from Lear Capital.
For a limited time, buy 20 new silver polar bear coins and get one free. The only 1.5 ounce coin on the market. It's minted with the finest silver, carries a government guarantee, and is eligible for IRAs. The Silver Polar Bear is available exclusively from Lear Capital. But don't wait. Silver supplies are shrinking and availability is not guaranteed. This offer is limited to a minimum purchase of $5,000. Call right now. 800-634-0482, 800-634-0482. Call Lear Capital now. 800-634-0482.
The Steve Malzberg Show is just a bit different from the other radio shows. We have TV cameras. Watch the show at Newsmax.com or listen on your favorite radio station. Here's Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, as we take you to the top of hour number 2 of the 3-hour Steve Malzberg extravaganza, known as the Steve Malzberg Show, Friday edition. I want you to hear. This is going to be. There's going to be much more of this on 60 Minutes. Lara Logan interviewing a British citizen who had been hired to train the Libyan security guards at the U.S. mission in Benghazi. Listen to cut 28.
Tonight, we are hearing for the first time from a security officer who witnessed the terrorist attack on the U.S. diplomatic mission in Benghazi, Libya last year. U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans were killed in the attack on the mission and a nearby annex. In an interview for 60 Minutes, correspondent Lara Logan spoke with a British citizen who'd been hired to train the Libyan guards at the U.S. mission. He calls himself Morgan Jones. It's a pseudonym to protect his safety. Jones says he was annoyed that the State Department wouldn't allow his guards to carry guns. As the attack began last year on September 11th, one of his guards called Jones, who was living nearby.
I could hear gunshots. And he said, there's men coming into the mission. His voice, he was scared. He could tell he was really scared, and he was running. I could tell he was running.
Okay, the key there is that the U.S. State Department, that means Hillary Clinton, would not allow the Libyan security guards guarding that embassy in Benghazi to carry guns. You think she'll ever be asked about that in a presidential debate by a Republican candidate? Because I'd love to hear the answer to that. Next cut 29.
His first thought was for his American friends, the State Department agents pinned down inside the compound. And he couldn't believe it when one of them answered his phone.
I said, what's going on? He said, oh, we're getting attacked. And I said, how many? And he said, they're all over the compound. And I was shocked. I didn't know what to say. And I said, well, just keep fighting. I'm on my way.
Morgan's guards, unarmed and terrified, were surrounded by heavily armed gunmen, but they still sounded the alarm.
They said, we're here to kill Americans, not Libyans. So they give them a good beating. Pistol whipped them, beat them with their rifles, and let them go.
We're here to kill Americans.
That's what they said, yeah.
Not Libyans.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing what that video about Muhammad resulted in, huh? Hillary, Mr. Obama, 2 disgraces. And I'm telling you, what's with John Boehner? He's equally as disgraceful for not letting there be one select committee to investigate this travesty, this act of war against the United States of America. On the Steve Malzberg Show, don't go away.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Okay, this will interest anyone with diabetes or prediabetes. And what I'm about to tell you is pretty controversial, so you want to definitely consult your doctor first. But if diabetes concerns you, there's a toll-free number you need to call, 855-500-DIABETES. At that number, they reveal what they call the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. Now, what they say is people who have followed this plan exactly as they will explain it to you have not only normalized their blood sugar, but stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's approval, of course. You get 3 specific actions to take right now, today, to get your blood sugar level under control in 4 weeks or less. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? 855-500-DIABETES and find out now. Check with your doctor, of course, because I'm not giving you medical advice here. But if you have diabetes or are worried about your blood sugar, I think you should call 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
Do you have a motorized wheelchair or scooter that needs repairs and you don't know where to turn? Then call the experts at Precision Repair Network. They are the specialists in repairing all makes and models of motorized wheelchairs and scooters. You can call 24/7 and they will come to you anywhere in the United States. They'll give you a loaner to use until they return yours in perfect condition. And your repairs may be covered by your Medicare or your private insurance, so there is little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. If your wheelchair or scooter needs repairs, call this special hotline now and learn how you can get door-to-door service on your repairs at little or no cost to you. Precision Repair Network. They'll get you moving again. Operators are ready to take your call right now. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. 800-978-4813. That's 800-978-4813.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm Kathleen Walter. European world leaders say trust is at stake over alleged U.S. spying. German and French accusations that the United States has run spying operations in their countries, including possibly bugging Chancellor Angela Merkel's mobile phone, continue to dominate the meeting of EU leaders. The two-day Brussels summit, called to tackle a range of social and economic issues, is now being overshadowed by debate on how to respond to the alleged espionage by Washington against two of its closest European allies.
Data protection must apply no matter if it concerns the emails of citizens or the mobile phone of Angela Merkel.
Earlier this week, President Obama called German Chancellor Angela Merkel and reassured her that the United
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99. And there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Newsmax Now update. I'm Ken. World leaders say trust in U.S. spying that the United States has run countries, including possibly bugging Chancellor Angela Merkel's mobile phone, continue to dominate the meeting of EU leaders. The two-day Brussels summit, called to tackle a range of social and economic issues, is now being overshadowed by debate on how to respond to the alleged espionage by Washington against two of its closest European allies.
Data protection must apply no matter if it concerns the emails of citizens or the mobile phone of Angela Merkel.
Earlier this week, President Obama called German Chancellor Angela Merkel and reassured her that the United States is not monitoring her cell phone communications. Since the NSA monitoring scandal began earlier this year, several U.S. allies have raised concerns over electronic eavesdropping. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius is rebuffing calls from Republicans for her to resign over the troubled launch of the Obamacare sign-up website. She says the people asking her to resign are, quote, people I don't work for. Sebelius says no one is getting fired for the glitches and that her main focus is to get the Obamacare website up and running.
It's better today than it was on October 1st, but it's a long way from perfect.
Contractors responsible for the troubled healthcare.gov website say last-minute changes and not enough testing led to widespread problems. Brett Favre is dealing with some healthcare issues of his own. The former NFL star says he was contacted by the St. Louis Rams to see if he would be interested in playing again, but he turned them down. Favre tells a Washington radio station he's suffering from memory loss due to concussions sustained during his playing days. The NFL has been dealing with concussion issues now for years. The league agreed to pay $765 million this summer to settle lawsuits from former players. The Olympic flame for the Sochi Winter Olympic Games arrived at the North Pole. The flame was carried to the North Pole on a nuclear-powered icebreaker. Renowned Arctic and Antarctic explorer Archer Chilingorov led the expedition. The Sochi 2014 Olympic torch relay began in Moscow on October 7th and will end at the Sochi 2014 opening ceremony in February. Having traveled approximately 40,000 miles around Russia, carried by more than 14,000 torchbearers. Coming up in a Newsmax exclusive, the Chairman Emeritus of the House Foreign Affairs Committee joins us to talk Iran and explain why she disapproves of President Obama's outreach to Iran's President Rouhani. And we're taking you to the Bronx Zoo today for a look at the world's largest pumpkin. Not only will its size surprise you, but what one artist did with it will shock you.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, all while you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, investments, and home's value. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer, who was the only expert to predict the recession, has released a startling video with shocking evidence that the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Watch it at AftershockVideo.com. AftershockVideo.com.
Tonight we are a country awakened to danger and called to defend freedom.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
And welcome back. In a Newsmax exclusive, Florida Republican Representative Ileana Ros-Lehtinen charges that terrorist groups that attempt to undermine the U.S. national security will always have a connection to Iran.
I know that the Iranian regime is not sincere. I think that Benjamin Netanyahu said it quite clearly when he said, with Ahmadinejad, he was a wolf in wolf's clothing. Rouhani is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
And Great Gourds, the world's largest pumpkin, is on display at the New York Botanical Garden, weighing in at 2,032 pounds. It was grown by Tim and Susan Matheson of Napa, California. Master pumpkin carver Ray Villafane turned the pumpkin into a gigantic sculpture with a Venus flytrap and wasps overhead. For more exclusive interviews and content, stay with Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter, and this has been your Newsmax Now update for October 24th. Take care.
Someone from law enforcement who was involved with the family. The family lives in Brooklyn, and I heard the family on all the local news shows over and over talking about how they want answers. They didn't have to shoot her. It was irresponsible. She didn't have to die. There was a baby in the car, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, I said, yeah, you know, did they have to kill her? I mean, the cops don't know what she had in the car. Secret Service, Capitol Police. She could have been a terrorist threat. She could have had a bomb in the car. All kinds of questions. And you know, I don't know what the procedures are, what the protocol is. But, you know, cops have to do what they have to do sometimes. Having said that, I had sympathy and empathy for the family. And I felt that, you know, this is a troubled woman. You know, we heard she was on, you know, she was bipolar. She was this, she was that. We heard all kinds of rumors. Here's my problem as the facts continue to come out, and it's not with the police. It's with the family. It's with the family. Okay, let me. Can we put up cut 18 just to show the woman in question? She was from Stamford, Connecticut, and she, as I mentioned, is Miriam Carey, 34 years old. Back on October 3rd, she was, shot and killed by the police after she tried to ram her car through a White House barrier, and then drove, backed up against the orders and drove down to the Capitol. Anyway, so. Police records show that the boyfriend of the woman had expressed concern about her emotional stability and the safety of their daughter. So the boyfriend was the father of the baby, okay? A report from the Stamford, Connecticut Police Department says Miriam Carey told officers who responded on December 10th of last year that President Obama had her under surveillance, and she described herself to the police as the prophet of Stamford. She was the prophet of Stamford, and President Obama had her under surveillance. Now, she had been diagnosed with postpartum depression, psychosis. Obviously, anybody who says these things to the police is got a mental problem going, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Another report. She had delusions, as I just described. She had been diagnosed with postpartum depression, psychosis. She told officers back on December 10th, Barack Obama communicated with her and had set up cameras to record her life for national news outlets. So you get an idea of where we're going with this, okay? Her relatives have challenged law enforcement accounts and said that she was delusional and raised questions over whether police use an appropriate level of force. Okay. The family has said in a statement issued through a New York law firm, because they're going to be suing. They're going to be looking for bread, for moolah, for money. Okay? They said it reviewed the data released by Stamford Police, said the data has absolutely nothing to do to explain why federal law enforcement officials decided to shoot at the woman. Well, let me ask the family a question through you, because I don't know if the family's listening. By the way, 4 incidents late last year. 4 incidents. According to police reports, 911 calls after a Freedom of Information request. Police were called to her condominium on 4 separate occasions where she was acting irrationally or sometimes violent. Okay? So you chalk it up to, postpartum depression. Folks, let me ask the family a question. Hey, family, how on earth, and by the way, boyfriend too, father, and I don't know the circumstances of where, why he wasn't more involved or where he was, but how, I want to focus on the family. Family from Brooklyn, press conference, law firm, probably going to sue. How on earth did you leave this 1-year-old child, or whatever the age of the child was as it aged, with this woman who was obviously, in my opinion, and I'm not a professional, out of her mind? Now, you may say that the police reports and what happened had nothing to do with the police shooting her. I'm putting that aside. But I am struck, and I am struck hard. And I get this, Will, I want to take this family to task. Will, they love when I say I never even knew I said take them to task. But they like when I say that. It's kind of like Steve Cangelosi, who does play-by-play of the Devils on TV. He says the Devils are warming to the task, which means they're doing what's necessary. I got to admit, I don't like when he says that, and I haven't heard it this year, but maybe, I don't know. Anyway, but I love Steve Cangelosi's play-by-play. But they like when I say take them to task. So, back to the seriousness of this. I want to take the family to task. When you have 4 incidents where police are called to the home of a woman who's raising a child, your grandchild, niece, depending on which relative we're talking about, an infant, an infant growing into a toddler. And this woman tells the police Barack Obama's taping my life to put it on the news. I'm the princess of Stanford. There's satellites watching me. Obama's after me. He's bugging me. And as a family, you leave that child with this woman who, again, my opinion, is obviously out of her mind. So I want to know who's going to sue the family. Who's going to hold the family accountable? A, for allowing this woman to go untreated. Now, I know, I don't know what they could do. They live in separate places. She's an adult woman. But she had a kid. Your flesh and blood. Your kid. Again, I think the mother and the sisters were at the press conference all the time, so I'll say your granddaughter and your niece. And you let a woman who's that far gone talking about Obama taping her life story, and you let that woman be in charge of raising a child? And then you're shocked that she drove with the child to Washington, D.C., and she winds up dead? You're lucky the girl didn't wind up dead. It's mind-boggling to me. Just mind-boggling to me. Anyway, so I'd love to know if you want to weigh in on that. I'd love to know what you think about that. 877-NEWSMAX is the number. 877-639-7629. I mean, how do you allow a woman to, legally, I don't know what you could do, but you got to do something. You got to show evidence of that you gave a darn about that little girl. And the father, I don't know anything about the father. I know nothing about the father. I don't know if he lived with them. I don't think he did. He expressed concern to police. I heard a 911 tape when he called the cops on her once and said that he fears for the safety of his daughter. Well, then you should have taken her. Now, maybe he couldn't because courts are courts, and I don't know what the custody situation was, and you can't kidnap a kid. But the family could have done something. The family could have tried to get her help and to have that baby gone to court or gone to the police and said, look, this woman should not be left alone with a baby. She's dangerous. And so all the focus now is away from them, except from moi, and on the police. And I think the focus and the spotlight should be turned around, and these people should be taken to task. Reaction? Yeah, they love it in the control room. There you go. It's a troika. They all love it. Anyway, so 877-NEWSMAX. 877-NEWSMAX if you want to weigh in on this. 877-639-7629. I mean, it makes sense to me. What say you? I hate that. That's an O'Reilly thing. And everybody, Megyn Kelly picked it up real quick, too. What say you? What do you think? What do you say? What's your opinion? What say you? That's fine for O'Reilly. It's his shtick. But when Megyn Kelly picked it up, it was like, I don't get that. Come up with your own thing. All right. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. You need to watch out because thousands of new Obamacare rules are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck coming down, and I don't see any results yet. I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy. Get the Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere, or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MyTV. 1-855-625-MyTV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MyTV. 1-855-625-MyTV.
A hot new book by Craig Smith argues that the greenback is now at high risk thanks to our spendthrift politicians. Mark Twain said, "The truth is stranger than fiction." The same is true of the Great Debasement, which began a century ago with the creation of the Federal Reserve and income tax. The result, today's dollar retains just 2 cents of its original buying power. Yes, progressive politicians have engineered the largest wealth confiscation in history, creating in essence a fourth branch of government. Learn what must be done to preserve your money if the dollar crashes. The good news is Swiss America is offering the Great Debasement, a $20 value free of charge for this special radio offer.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. Call Swiss America now for a free DVD. 800-818-3967.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll free at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. There's something else that we haven't gotten to in this very busy week because you got to pick and choose exactly. I must be Marco Rubio. You got to pick and choose your scandals and your topics, and you have to prioritize, which is something the president has said he couldn't do if there was a debt ceiling that wouldn't be increased. Anyway, I want you to listen to this report by Cheryl Atkinson. You know all about Fast and Furious. Well, Fast and Furious Part 2. This one involving grenades. Yes, grenades. And again, there is no accountability. I'm telling you, folks, so much of this, if this was George W. Bush, if this was a Republican president, they'd be talking impeachment in the House if it was controlled by the Democrats. But I haven't heard anybody mention this report other than Cheryl Atkinson. It's gotten no traction, none, zilch. We're going to give it the best we can, some traction. Here's cut number 1.
Authorities say 5 members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel used at least 9 firearms and 10 hand grenades against Mexican police. 3 policemen were killed, along with 4 cartel members. CBS News has learned that one of the grenades has been linked to Jean-Baptiste Kingery, a suspected grenade trafficker that U.S. authorities had under surveillance for years but didn't arrest. We've obtained this ATF Significant Information Report dated Tuesday, stating evidence shows one grenade was a Kingery grenade. The Justice Department Inspector General is already investigating the conduct of federal officials in the Kingery case, which was overseen by the same U.S. Attorney and ATF office in Arizona that let suspects traffic thousands of weapons to Mexican drug cartels in the case Fast and Furious.
Well, could someone explain to me what the heck we're doing? And by the way, kudos to CBS News. I mean, Cheryl Atkinson and others and these reports on Obamacare that we've been bringing to you courtesy of CBS News, they're really the network that's out there in front of all this. I mean, they're not afraid to report exactly what they're finding. And Cheryl Atkinson, of course, has had some problems when she started to report on Fast and Furious and other issues. But it looks like they're letting her do her thing, at least on the surface it looks that way. Here's the next cut on Cheryl Atkinson's report, Cut 2.
ATF case files show the agency learned back in 2009 that Kingery was dealing in grenades. They developed a secret plan to let him smuggle parts to Mexico and follow him to his factory. Some ATF agents objected, worried that Kingery would disappear once he crossed the border into Mexico. And that's exactly what happened.
One American official familiar with the investigation and the possible misconduct of U.S. officials for letting Kingery go says the murders of the Mexican police last week is just the latest example of the carnage that continues from U.S. agents allowing guns and grenades to cross the border. And he says both governments are trying to keep the rising death toll quiet.
Yep. They're trying to keep the death toll quiet. Why the heck is this taking place in the first place? What's our interest in sending guns and grenades across the border to Mexico, and then we have Mexican agents and U.S. agents getting killed and citizens getting killed with these guns and grenades? How is it allowed to continue? Where is John Boehner? Where is oversight? Where is the Congress? Shh. Nah, don't talk about it. We got better. You just don't like a black man in the White House, Steve. These aren't real scandals. This is nothing. Just let it go away. Talk about the World Series, which we will in a second. By the way, there's a report now that the NSA website, get this, as Wolf Blitzer says, get this, the NSA website is down. It's been reportedly hacked by people affiliated with Anonymous, according to the report I'm reading here on Drudge, which is linked to, I don't know who it's linked to, but that's the report. The NSA website is down, apparently hacked. And you think your healthcare information is going to be safe when you give it to the government? All right. Kathleen Sebelius. Hey, Kathleen. Hey, Madam Secretary. Are you going to resign? Listen to this cockamamie statement she made the other day. Here's cut 25.
Have you offered your resignation, ma'am?
What is your response to people who are calling for you to resign?
Well, the majority of people calling for me to resign, I would say, are people who I don't work for and who do not want this program to work in the first place.
Get rid of it. The majority of people asking me to resign are people I don't work for, which implies, if you know English, that some of the people she works for are asking her to resign. And the only person she really works for is one person, the president. Well, she works for us, but she serves at the pleasure of the president. So she said the majority of the people asking me to resign are people I don't work for, which means some of the people I work for are also asking me to resign. This is the woman in charge of your health care, your future. What is she talking about? Today she went around on her tour and said, don't believe what you're hearing about Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. Yeah, okay, we won't believe it. We'll believe you and we'll believe the liar in chief. You keep your insurance if you like it. You keep your doctor if you like it. Premiums will go down. We'll keep believing that garbage. When we come back, we're going to talk a little baseball right here. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurity311.com. At SocialSecurity311.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurity311.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other ways to save as much as $50,000 starting today. Newsmax says this website is a critical resource for anyone over the age of 50. So go to SocialSecurity311.com now to find out how you could add extra money to your Social Security checks. That's SocialSecurity311.com. SocialSecurity311.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
A hot new book by Craig Smith argues that the greenback is now at high risk thanks to our spendthrift politicians. Mark Twain said, "The truth is stranger than fiction." The same is true of the Great Debasement, which began a century ago with the creation of the Federal Reserve and income tax. The result, today's dollar retains just 2 cents of its original buying power. Yes, progressive politicians have engineered the largest wealth confiscation in history, creating in essence a fourth branch of government. Learn what must be done to preserve your money if the dollar crashes. The good news is Swiss America is offering the Great Debasement, a $20 value free of charge for this special radio offer.
800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. 800-818-3967. Call Swiss America now for a free DVD. 800-818-3967.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Microphones hot. Satellite link established. Studio lights illuminated. Cameras rolling. Audio and video encoders firing ones and zeros. Internet stream. Streaming. The most technology advanced radio show is on the air. Here's the captain of this enterprise, Steve Malzberg.
We feel confident and we feel good about ourselves because, we know how well we play at home. And, having the fans on your side is a big factor. It's like Boston playing here, It's kind of hard to play here when you play in the road and you're playing against everything, the whole team, the fans, everybody, Even though, we still have to go out there and perform, execute, and find a way to play good baseball. But, it's comfortable for us to go back home.
All right, and home they are going, and they will play Game 3. That's Carlos Beltran, by the way, St. Louis Cardinals, and they will go home and play Game 3 tomorrow night. Series tied at 1 apiece after a 4-2 Cardinals victory at Fenway last night. Joining us now is Zach McCright, co-host of Zach and Rammer. That show heard on 101 ESPN Sports Radio in St. Louis. Hey, Zach, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us. I do appreciate it. Okay, so obviously a big win last night. It's a lot better going home, tied at 1 apiece, taking away the home field advantage, so to speak. And, when they were down 2-1 after Big Papi's home run, I don't know, were you ever concerned, or did you feel that there was still a long way to go?
I think a lot of people in St. Louis thought game over at that point. And I think a big reason stems not just from last night and how the Red Sox pitching was doing, but it's kind of been like this. It's really I don't want to call it a miracle because it's not a miracle, but it's really been surprising for the to see the Cardinals' success getting to this point because their offense has been so down the entire postseason. They had scored 11 runs in the NLCS leading into Game 6. So in 5 games, they had scored 11 runs. Now, they had a 3-2 lead in the series, but they were winning 1-0 and 2-1.
Right.
Now, they did score 9 runs in the 6th game, but that's been the exception that kind of proves the rule. And then in Game 1, you see them lose. They get shut out. Or actually, they scored a run late to make it 8-1. They lose that first game. And the second game, they have that 1-run lead, and you're thinking, man, we're going to have to lean on this rookie to try to finish this out because that's probably going to be the only run St. Louis gets. It's kind of been that series. So for them to find a way to come back from a deficit and put some runs on the board, especially on the road in Fenway, in a foreign place to most of them, was a real big shot in the arm, and I think a big surprise to Cardinals fans.
And of course, they were helped by a couple of Red Sox errors on a scoring play. That's not good for the World Series. Not good anytime, but you don't want to do that in a World Series.
Yeah, this has not been a defensive masterpiece by either team, really. I think in the first 2 games, and you have to check my math because I'm on the road, but I think there's been 9 errors by the 2 teams combined. I mean, that's crazy. I know the Cardinals had 3 in Game 1. The Red Sox had at least, I'm pretty sure, at least 2. I know of, maybe a third in Game 2. It's not been pretty. So the question may become, can someone take advantage of those miscues? I know in the Cardinals' loss in Game 1, even though they only had 3 errors, you could attribute every run that the Red Sox scored to some sort of St. Louis Cardinals blunder. Now, it may not have, like I said, it may not have shown up in the defensive statistics, but they, whether it be the ball falling right in between Molina and Wainwright, or say something going on. It's just been that kind of series so far. So the Cardinals need to hopefully clean that stuff up. It's going to end up being these 2 teams are really good. It's going to end up being the team that screws up first is going to win the game.
Yeah, or screws up less. Zach, I want you to hear. We got a soundbite from Michael Wacha, who amazingly had his 18 2/3 innings scoreless streak snapped with Big Papi's home run in the 6th last night. Here's what he had to say after the game.
With this kind of lineup that Boston has, you can't make a lot of mistakes to them or else they're going to make you pay. And, a good hitter like Ortiz made a mistake, 3-2 changeup up in the zone, and, he made me pay. And, I was pretty mad coming in, but after the home run, Yachty came out there. He's like, hey, don't worry. We're going to just hold them here. We're going to score in the top of the 7th. And, sure enough, we put up a big 3 spot, and, everyone was starting to feel pretty good. I mean, everyone came in, had all the confidence in the world that we were going to put up runs, and they really picked me up, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
He has just been, needless to say, with the statistics, amazing. And, it's like you said, if the bats aren't working, the pitching's got to pick it up, and the pitching has gotten you to where you are right now, 1-1 going home for Game 3.
I've never seen anything like what Michael Wacha's done. This was only the 2nd time in World Series history, really, and extends from Wacha, really. This is the 2nd time in World Series history in which a player 23 or younger has gotten the win and gotten the save, and that's what the Cardinals did. They went rookie. There's 3 pitchers. Michael Wacha gave up 2 runs in 6 innings of work last night, and that was his worst outing of the postseason. I mean, that's insane. He has just got. I mean, look, he may blow up in Game 6. I'm almost expecting him to. With every great outing he has at this young an age, I feel like he's due for the blow up at any time. But that being said, he has got the mentality of a 33-year-old instead of a 23-year-old or 22-year-old. He is just he doesn't get flustered. There are so many times during the course of a game where he could blow up. He gave up a lot of walks last night. He's given up a hit here or there, and you've got the winning run, the tying run or winning run on base in the World Series, and the guy doesn't blink. And he's just a year ago now he was in the minor leagues.
It is incredible. Yeah,
crazy. He's been fantastic, and so has the entire young pitching staff.
Absolutely. We're talking to Zach McCright. He is a co-host in St. Louis on 101 ESPN Sports Radio of Zach and Rammer. One more for you before we get to the preview of tomorrow's matchup. John Lester, when he takes the mound next time, I mean, do you think that he had a substance on his glove, an illegal substance, and how might that affect him going forward? And can you count on your the Cardinals' management or manager and coaches to bring it to the umpire's attention and have the glove checked?
Oh man, this has been an interesting story. Look. My take on it is, if he's got something in his glove, if it's commonplace to have it, then why are we so secretive with it? So if he is being so secretive, then I mean, yeah, do something different. I don't know. I mean, that's where it just kind of confuses me, the entire thing. You know, everybody, I keep on hearing from all the scribes and what I like to call the baseball intelligentsia. They'll tell me, well, this stuff happens all the time. Don't worry about it. And the Cardinals acted like that. The Cardinals just said, hey, no big deal. We're not worried about it. And I'm like, okay, so everybody does this. Well, if everybody does this, then why be so secretive about it? I guess that's what I don't understand.
Well,
I don't think.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't think anything will happen. I don't think the Cardinals will do anything. I don't think Mike Matheny will do anything. I think he'll just let it be. If it were me, I'd be less worried about the substance and more worried about your defense. And I will say this: the precedent was set in Game 1. Anytime there's a bang bang play, let's go ahead and have a conference. If I were Mike Matheny, that's the thing I'd be going to do with umpires.
Well, here's what I would do. I'd go back to the old Billy Martin days. I would, early and often as possible, try to get inside Lester's head, and the next time he pitches, and have the umpire at least go out once and check the glove. Maybe it's worth nothing. Maybe it's worth something. Maybe it disrupts his rhythm, or maybe not at the beginning of the game. Maybe at a crucial time, I would play with his head. But I don't know, like you said, if the Cardinals will do that. How about Jake Peavy and Joe Kelly? Peavy, of course, for the Sox, and Kelly for the Cards tomorrow night, Game 3. What's the matchup look like to you?
It'll be a good one. I think this is, and I don't want to offend anybody on either side, but
go ahead, be offensive. We're all about being offensive here. Go ahead.
Right, yeah, that's what we do, right? I think both sides. This is your second tier of your starters for both sides. If I'm a Cardinals fan, I like where I'm at. I didn't like it after Game 1.
Right.
I thought for sure. I thought Wainwright needed to win. I just thought the way the matchups went, Wainwright needed to win. But Peavy going, I don't think really scares the Cardinals, and I really don't think Boston should be scared by Joe Kelly either. Now, that being said, I think there may be an advantage for the Cardinals with Lance Lynn, who's kind of turned it back up in the postseason, and Clay Buchholz. I mean, my goodness, he arm fatigue. I mean, it may be. He may have just checked out, and they're just going to hope for the best with him. And then you come back around and get Wainwright again. I cannot see him losing a second game. He was not sharp in game 1. I don't see him losing Game 5. So this could be a really big swing game in this series. I think if the Red Sox win it, they're in the driver's seat the rest of the way.
All right, listen, Zach, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. Appreciate it, sir.
You got it, man.
Bye-bye. Zach McCright, co-host of Zach and Rammer on 101 ESPN Sports Radio in St. Louis. All right, folks, Game 3 should be interesting, but like you said, they are, second-tier pitchers, so to speak. But pivotal game, nonetheless. Game 3, someone will be up 2-1 in St. Louis when it's all over tomorrow night. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk to Alfonso Aguilar. He is executive director of the Latino Partnership for Conservative Principles in Washington, D.C. Used to work for George W. Bush and his administration. To adopt immigration reform or not? That is the question. And we'll talk about it right here on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV, and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Attention, anyone with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES to learn about a special program that has been created just for you. In this solution kit, we reveal the one weird spice that's probably in your kitchen right now and how it normalizes blood sugar levels. People who have followed this plan exactly as found in this risk-free kit have not only normalized their blood sugar, but have stopped taking their diabetes medications with their doctor's astounded approval. Now you can take this natural, safe, and drug-free approach to reversing your diabetes. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and get information about 3 specific actions to take right now today that normalize your blood sugar and get it under control in 4 weeks or less. Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. Is it possible to reverse diabetes? Call toll-free 855-500-DIABETES and find out now, while this revolutionary information is still available risk-free. That's toll-free 855-500-DIABETES. 855-500-DIABETES.
What is Lignet? Lignet is knowledge. Lignet is power. Lignet is global. Top-level officials, U.S. intelligence officers, national security advisors, foreign operatives, all reporting directly to you. What is Lignet? Lignet is confidential. Lignet is sensitive. Lignet is security. What is Lignet? They're the ones taking the world's pulse. If you're not in the know, you're not on Lignet.com. You've been briefed.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Tonight we are a country awakened to danger and called to defend freedom.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck coming down, and I don't see any results yet. I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy.
Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide, at bookstores everywhere. Or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare311.com. Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back. Final segment of the Friday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. And joining us now is a man who was the first and former chief of the U.S. Office of Citizenship, appointed by President George W. Bush. And he also served in the Department of Homeland Security and in numerous high-level government positions in the Bush administration. He is Alfonso Aguilar, who is Executive Director of Latino Partnership for Conservative Principles in Washington, D.C. Hello, Alfonso. How are you, sir?
Hello, Steve. How are you? Happy to be with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your flexibility with the time frame. Okay, so the other day, on the heels of the disaster with the rollout of Obamacare, Barack Obama, without missing a beat, and with all the ill will he's managed to forge in the way he spoke about Republicans for months on end with the shutdown and the debt ceiling increase, guns to the head, hostage taker, terrorists, you name it. He comes out and says, "Hey, let's pass immigration reform by the end of the year." Do you think this is A, going to happen, and do you think B, it should happen?
Well, let me say that regardless of the president's political remarks in the past few days about immigration, I think that it may happen. Republicans in the House understand that this is an important issue. It's an important issue for our economy. Our immigration system is dysfunctional. It's broken. We need to fix it. And I think what the leadership in the House is saying is that, we don't want to pass the Senate bill, which kind of looks like Obamacare, something big, huge that nobody understands, but that we can pass a series of bills that address the issue of immigration in an ample way, but in a way that is consistent with the rule of law, with conservative principles, and at the same time is compassionate and responds to the needs of the market.
Well, okay, to me, I'm from the Republican camp that says this is a disaster. First of all, helping the economy, legalizing more people to come here and do low-level jobs, high-skilled jobs, because I guess we don't have anybody in this country who's highly skilled enough or willing to do this dirty work, as they say, at a time when we have people who can't find work at all, who have given up looking for work. We have a healthcare system, as we've seen now, that is about to go down the tubes. You're going to be adding millions and millions and millions more to that system. I think that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And then if you're a Republican, and I'll let you tear me down. And then if you're a Republican, you're going to be legitimizing and bringing 30 million people over the next years into this country, 95% of which are going to vote Democrat for the rest of their lives. I mean, what sense does it make as a Republican to want to do this?
No, I understand the concern, but I have to disagree. And let me be very clear. I believe in immigration, not for the reasons that Barack Obama has articulated, but because I believe in the principles Ronald Reagan stood for. And he understood that even at his time, but even right now, when we have an economy that's not growing fast enough, where we have an employment over 7%, immigrants are not taking jobs away from Americans. And every study you see shows that they're taking jobs, low-skilled jobs that Americans don't want, or where there's simply no Americans of working age to do them. So why are those jobs important to fill? Because those jobs are essential for businesses to grow. And if businesses grow, we can create good-paying jobs for Americans, for hard-working Americans. So, ironically, by having access to that foreign workforce that we need, it's very important to create jobs for Americans. Now, in terms of immigrants or Latino immigrants specifically not voting for Republicans, I have to disagree 100%. Those immigrants that are coming today are coming here, to the United States because they love this country. They're attracted by our system, not because of social benefits. In fact, under immigration reform, they wouldn't have access to most federal benefits. But they're coming here because they want to be part of our economy. Latinos right now are starting businesses 3 times faster than the national average. 20% of entrepreneurs or people who started new businesses last year were Hispanic. They don't want to see more big government. Yes, there are pockets of Latinos in certain areas that like big government. Those are multi-generational Latinos that will never change. But those who are coming here from abroad have a very different mentality, are for life, are for marriage, for traditional marriage.
But so is the Hispanic, but
entrepreneurial.
Alfonso, so is the Hispanic community at large. So is the African American community at large. Although the statistics in the African American community as far as family goes are heartbreaking and heart-wrenching, but nonetheless, the African American churches preach life and preach family values and education and all that. It's not happening when they talk about who they're voting for. 95% vote for Obama. And look at the Latino vote in national elections the last 2 times around. It's not going to change.
It has changed. I mean, people.
It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse since George W. Bush.
It's gotten worse because of our rhetoric on immigration.
No. Look, but then how do you explain?
Yeah.
But let me just say,
George Bush got 44% of the Latino vote, and I can tell you, I was part of that campaign.
Right.
He talked about immigration, but not only about immigration, about small government. He went to Hispanic evangelical churches to talk about life and marriage, an integrated message that appealed to Latino voters. Now, after that, we started changing the rhetoric on immigration, sounding very anti-immigrant, and the vote went down. McCain got 31%.
Right, but Alfonso, and we're talking to Alfonso Aguilar, Executive Director of the Latino Partnership for Conservative Principles, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. The fact of the matter is that they did a poll. I think it was Pew Hispanic did a poll of Hispanics coming out of the voting booth in the 2012 election, and you know where immigration ranked? About 4th or 5th on the list. I think it's a fallacy, and it's a terrible fallacy that the Republicans are buying into or pretend they're buying into to say that, we can't get the Hispanic vote unless we allow illegals in this country to have a path to citizenship and put up the welcome sign for more illegals to come in. I just don't understand it.
But, first of all, let me say that I don't think what Republicans are proposing is a special path to citizenship. In fact, Chairman Goodlatte, the chair of the Judiciary Committee in the House, who's really spearheading the effort in the House, has been very clear. Path to legal status after a penalty, learning English, paying back taxes, but no special path to citizenship. But in any case, we are the party of ideas. Why should we be? Are we afraid that we're not going to convince Latinos based on our ideas of faith, personal responsibility, and small government? I think we can. And again, George Bush got 44%.
Then let's convince the people who are here legally first. Why do we need to legitimize illegal lawbreakers? And again,
but they're not.
They're all going to be into the new healthcare system. They're all going to be into this economy.
No? But that is not true.
They're going to have to buy health insurance eventually, aren't they? We all have to.
If they're here, they're not going to be able, even a permanent resident.
We're going to pay for their health insurance. They'll get a subsidy.
No, if under immigration reform, even under the Senate bill, they would not have access to any federal benefit. That is just factually incorrect.
Well, federal benefit, so they won't be required. So illegal. So the immigrants who will be here. Wait. I got 30 seconds. I got 30 seconds. They won't have to have health insurance. They'll be immune from Obamacare.
Exactly.
Well, that doesn't make sense either. But hey, listen. I hope we can continue this conversation, Alfonso, at another time.
Should.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Alfonso Aguilar, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's the end of the week. So illegal immigrants who will be under this, reform won't have to follow Obamacare? Another exemption? The more I find out, the more I love it. On the Steve Malzberg Show.